This is the technical difficulties. We're playing Citation. Needed joining me today. He reads books. You know, it's Chris Joel. Hey up. Everybody's favourite Gary Brannan. Gary Brannan.
Here's a thought. Earlier today, Noel Edmonds was entirely naked. Just imagine.
And standing in for Matt Gray, the man from the south, Will Seward.
Hello. I'm not from Yorkshire.
Get him out!
Oh!
In front of me, I've got an article from Wikipedia, and these folks can't see it. Every fact they get right is a point and a ding, and a special prize for particularly good answers, which is... And today we are talking about Julie Daubigny. Daubigny.
This is it. 40 minutes of this. Try and stay with us.
To be fair, I am not French. And if I were English, I'd pronounce this as Daubigny. But I think it's Daubigny.
Daubigny sounds fine. Let's go Daubigny,
yeah. Yes. Better known as Mademoiselle Maupin. I'm not French. It's a French article. I'll be honest, it's downhill from here.
The whole thing's not in French, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Maupin.
P-I-N.
Maupin.
Maupin.
Maupin. Madame Maupin.
Was she a mistress of Louis XIV?
It's a long list if it is, let's face it.
Born to Gaston d'Aubigny, a secretary to the master of the horse for King Louis XIV.
Okay,
It's not close enough to have a point, but...
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
Secretary for a horse, would you believe?
Take that down. And read it back. Sir, I know it's very sad, but why the long face?
You're absolutely right that she was a mistress, but to a count. So I'm going to give you a point for that. To the Count... Oh, God.
A mistress to...
French names. Count d'Armagnac.
D'Armagnac.
Tom, what have you done to yourself?
It's not gone well. It's not gone well.
D'Armagnac, go on.
Became a mistress by the age of 14, because pre-French Revolution. But by that point, she had learned a lot of things by learning alongside the court pages.
Okay.
Is that an artful euphemism?
No, it's not.
Is it an artless euphemism?
No, her father trained the court pages, so what did Julie learn alongside them?
Words.
I'll give you a point.
Numbers.
Yeah. Reading is
Standing
there.
very still. Going, ooh, at the right moment when the king comes in.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Polishing pointy bits of gold chairs.
There's a couple of other skills that a page would have in those days.
Carrying things. Putting things down.
Something a little more violent.
Punching.
Swording.
Yes. Yes.
Which is an artless euphemism.
She learned to fence and then dressed as a boy from an early age. She got involved with an assistant fencing master. The police were then looking for him to arrest him. What had he done?
You know he's got a sword in his hand?
Yeah.
You know he waves it around in a violent fashion? Did he, perchance and taking a punt, did he stab someone?
Yes. I'm looking for something specific here. What might be a reason for stabbing someone pre-revolution?
Being slightly upset.
In which case you would do what?
Oh, a duel.
Stab him!
A duel. You'd fight a duel.
Yes. The man she was involved with killed a man in an illegal duel, so they fled the city to Marseille. How did she earn her living on the way south?
Fighting for money.
Yes. Giving fencing exhibitions and also singing. She was a talented singer.
Singing and fencing at the same time would be a hell of an act, wouldn't it?
Opera. Which I believe had been invented at that point.
And not only that, she joined an opera company. Have a point.
For full operatic effect, did she die of tuberculosis at the end?
We've seen very different versions of Aida.
Made it to Marseille. Grew bored of her
Not what
lover.
I thought you were going to say.
Grew bored of this humdrum, dull life of opera singing and fencing.
Decided to become an accountant.
Yeah.
She ran away somewhere, and she ran away with someone.
To Nice. With a man from Nice.
Right, you are wrong about Nice, and you are also wrong about man.
With a woman!
Yes.
From a place that isn't Nice.
Not giving you a point for that, but it's Avignon, so yes.
Oh, I was going to say Poitiers, so close.
But she was running away because the girl was sent away by her parents. Where was the other girl sent to?
A convent?
Yes, absolutely
awesome.
right. So she followed, entering the convent, and...
With swords. Let's face it, you get in most places if you turn up waving swords around singing opera.
No, she went into the convent and then tried to free her lover from the convent.
This is a hell of an opera in itself.
It is,
let's
it
face
is.
it.
I like to think that everybody's singing all the way through this.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a full-on Rodgers and Hammerstein. This.
Could we talk through the plan, the scheme that she went through, the heist that she pulled? And it's quite a dark heist.
Did it
to
involve
get
swords?
her and her lover out of the convent?
But did the nuns have swords?
Not to my knowledge. Although,
Blood
Traditionally,
convents,
frankly,
yeah.
Sister
But-
Act 3 is amazing.
But then it should have been a very easy heist. She
Give me my mother, or I'll chop you all to pieces.
yeah.
It
As
was
negotiating tactics go, it's normally successful, I find.
while they were trying to cover their tracks. What kind of scheme would you pull to do that?
You would pretend to be a doctor. And you'd say, "This nun has a terrible disease. All of you will get the disease. She must come with me immediately." And the nuns would go, "Oh, a doctor has said so." And then the doctor would also have a sword. And they
yeah.
And they were listening because he was singing.
And then we have the interval. That's the way it goes.
yeah.
No.
She would pretend to be a policeman. And she would say, "This nun has committed a terrible crime. Oh, no. She must come with me immediately."
But she was charged in absentia for kidnapping, body snatching, and arson. So based on that, what was the heist?
Oh, so you take a dead body, replace your lover with it, then burn the whole place down to cover the tracks. Damn!
What worries me is that your mind went straight to that. Does this count as a confession?
There's no DNA evidence, darling.
She escaped from that. The affair lasted 3 months before the girl returned to her family, and then she left for Paris. What happened in Paris? And I'm deliberately phrasing that vaguely because it's kind of a repeat.
Did she dig up the entire Père
No,
Lachaise cemetery?
It's not a repeat of that.
Paris to the
It's not a
ground.
repeat. It's a repeat of something we've already talked about.
Something with swords.
Yes, definitely.
She's sword thing on this lady, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Catastrophic juggling accident.
Oh, did she challenge someone to a duel?
Yes, you're absolutely right. She was insulted by a young nobleman, fought a duel with him, put a blade through his shoulder.
Whoa!
Awesome.
Was he pinned to a tree in a
No, it's just a vicious injury. It wasn't a cartoon thing where he's going, "Well, this is inconvenient. I'm stapled to this tree now.
I'll fight with the other arm!
Cool thing about duels. Dueling is really addictive. Bismarck, I think, when he was a student, he was also addicted to dueling. And he would walk...
Bit unfair, though. 6 14-inch guns against a man with a sword.
Well, no, kind of... Like, he'd walk around the street wearing two cudgels, 6 pistols and 2 swords and a dressing gown. And he'd wander around going, "Yeah, fight me,
That's
I'm
a
Bismarck."
very different Big Lebowski, isn't it?
Dueling, once it got later, was a really formal event.
Yes.
Like they would. Well, what would they be wearing?
You're normally just in a shirt, aren't you, as I understand
No, we're
it?
talking for this at least much later. This is German military, 19th century.
Oh, your full kit, no doubt. Armour. Well, you wouldn't be in armour. They wouldn't have armour at that
Well,
point. You have a
didn't-
breastplate.
Didn't the sort of early German thing that you duelled growing up or you fenced growing up to get good
Oh, yeah,
gnarly
dueling
scars?
scars. Yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right. They would fight with a mask and a thick scarf or thick.
So you could only get this bit.
You could only get that bit. So
Oh.
it was essentially ritual scarification.
Awesome.
Scars were judged by Otto von Bismarck to be a sign of bravery, and men's courage could be judged, and there's a quote here, by the number of scars on their cheeks.
Oh, cracking.
Did he specify
I'm well away.
which cheeks?
How would you do it? I just got this image of
it's
the
that
sword.
kind of- oh, I see. I got a very wrong idea about this.
I just got two men backing up against each other with a sword, kind of.
We're so
Only
brave.
one end of the sword would go thunk. The other one would go...
It's more the thought of Bismarck stood there in his dressing gown, cudgels, hand grenades, and cannon, and someone else reverses, bent over round the corner. Well, we're doing it this way, fair enough. I've never been beaten by a more worthy adversary. At which point it turns out the guy's got a cannon up there.
Yes, scars, for God's sake. Scars were usually targeted to the left profile.
Okay. Oh, look at you with your
I know.
I'm handsome for 19th century warring Germany thing.
I'll take that. I will take that.
It does explain the haircut.
And the Pickelhauber. Can we have a big thing that goes across the bottom of the screen and it says, do not try this at home?
Yes, I think
Unless someone has insulted you and you want a duel, in which case that's fine, but remember we mean the other cheeks. Yeah?
so. Yes, going back, so pre-French Revolution,
Yeah.
back to Julie, who yes, who was not dueling for that, who duelled by stabbing someone with a sword.
This doesn't sound much like a duel. This much more sounds like a very quick stabbing.
She was a very good duellist, by all accounts.
Well, excellent, obviously, yeah.
He was Louis Joseph d'Albert Loins, son of the Duke of Loins.
He killed my father. Prepare to die.
Quite the opposite. One of his companions came to offer his
Resurrected
apologies.
my father. Prepare to live.
Okay, when I say the opposite, I'm meaning more general terms. It was more that they certainly weren't enemies after this.
Is there more about just before we go into this guy's is
Yeah.
there more about him other than this incident? Because I would hate to be myself one of those people in history who's only remembered as being the guy that got stabbed through a shoulder, potentially stuck to a tree by that lady that pretended to be a nun who sang opera that burnt the convent down. Because that's not a great way to be remembered, let's face it.
For one thing, you can't write all that on just the one tombstone.
Yeah, both sides.
There is not another reference in here. This appears to be the one reference to the man in history.
How do they remember me? Oh, you're kidding! Come on!
But if it hadn't been that, he would have been remembered for being the innately hilarious son of the Duke of Loins.
I'm probably mispronouncing that.
I'm choosing to believe you're not.
It's Luynes. So if there's any French speakers in here who can,
Loins.
Loins it is
Duke of
there.
Loins.
There's no advance from the audience.
What happened though after that? After he recovered. By the way, and after he sent his apologies.
Oh, good man. I imagine he went ow quite frequently for a while. Did his golf take some time to recover? Was there physiotherapy involved?
Is this back to swording as an artless euphemism?
Did they marry?
You're closer, yes. They never married, but they became lovers and later lifelong friends.
How can you... Oh, remember that time I stabbed you in the shoulder? Oh, that's how we met.
Works for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to point out she is still in her late teens at this point.
That's
We are
nails.
not in the section yet that says adult life.
You know, when you're at home and you think to yourself, how is my life going? Do you ever hear articles like this and think, I have not achieved enough in life? But how old was she? So late teens. By 19, at no point had I tried to burn a convent down with a corpse inside it.
She is somewhere between 17 and 20 at this point.
Oh, that's
We don't
different.
know
By
the
19, I was all about that, yeah.
She was hired by the Paris Opera.
In full knowledge that she was pretty handy while she was doing it.
Oh, no, it was a doorman.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine just a minute when she got appointed at the opera, the CRB check she must have had when he got in? What do we have? Well, a little bit of shoplifting when you were 12. I'm sure that's all done now. Burning down a convent and stealing a body but to burn down said convent. Now, that was not...
She only set the room on fire. She didn't burn down the entire convent.
Oh, that's all right then.
5 years later, she is still the talk of Paris. She's still well known. Thank you for those effects. At a society ball, there was a scandal.
Turned up as a bloke, left with a woman, reverted to being a woman, burnt the place down when somebody said, oi.
One of those things is right, but it was a broad blunderbuss attempt there. So
Yeah.
let's try Gary.
Singing opera, throws sword, stabs man, room on fire.
None of those.
Ah.
So based on those two,
Come on, Will.
She pretended to be a doctor. And she went around the ballroom going, everyone here has a terrible disease. You must all come with me.
What I like about it, in my imagination, she's dressed as an opera singer. She's got swords down each leg, so she's a bit stiff in walking and has a stethoscope.
Chris, you actually said vaguely the right words there. She kissed a young woman at a society ball. What happened immediately after that?
She had a duel with the entire society ball.
Yeah, she was challenged to duels by 3 separate noblemen, so I'll give you a point for
What
that.
did she do that night?
Beat them all in duels. What was illegal in Paris at that point?
Dueling more than 2 people in an evening. It was considered greedy.
Just dueling in particular. So she now has to flee Paris because she's also wanted there.
Say, mate, say Marseille now. I think we're going there.
I think she went to Marseille.
Brussels.
Oh!
Rejoins the opera, and the final years of her career here were spent in a relationship with, who?
Anyone brave enough?
Madame la Marquise de Flansa. Again, butchering all the French in here.
Well, that's what she was doing with the swords, to be honest. That's taking time.
That's excellent.
Ugly four that just reached the rope, yeah.
On her death, she was inconsolable. She retired from the opera and then took refuge where?
Not a convent.
She died at the age of 33, has no known grave, and is a legendary figure.
That window needs just a gentle tap on it now, doesn't it? And the point of a sword just to come out.
So at the end of the show, congratulations, Will, you win this one.
Yay!
You win a Greek philosopher's Mexican salamander speed control. It is...
Oh, Aristotle, axolotl, something throttle.
Yes! An Aristotle axolotl throttle. Congratulations, Will. With that, we say thank you to Chris Joel.
Hey!
To Gary Brannan. To Will Seward. I've been Tom Scott, and we'll see you next time. Good night. Woo.